Hi everyone, I'm Sandy and today I'm back with my 1001 book countdown, and the book this week had a lot of differing opinions in my group read. So let's get to it. Okay, so as always, if you're not familiar with the 1001 book countdown, I'll leave a card up here for you where you can go and check out the second video I ever made. Yeah, but I do go into all of the details about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. But basically, it's book reviews off of the 1001 books you must read before you die list. And I have always wanted to do this. It has been something that has been, I guess, kind of just a goal of mine. Plus, I love lists, so I'm all over it. And what better opportunity to do it than to share it with everyone here? So if you're enjoying my journey and like the countdown, please consider giving me a subscribe and a comment down below. I love all the interaction on my channel, and I'm having an absolute blast. So, but for today, we'll go ahead and put up our numbers, which are 969 and 15, which is my 2021 number. And we'll go ahead and jump into the book. So the book I'm going to talk about today is The Name of the Rose by Umberto Eco. So this book, from what I can tell, was originally has a copyright date of 1980, and the first English translation happened in 1983. What was really interesting to me about this when I was researching my pieces for the video today is this is actually Eco's debut novel. I did not know that when I was reading this, that this was his debut. And so I'm trying to decide how that changes my opinion about the book, or does it change my opinion about the book? There's also a movie of the same name starring Sean Connery that I believe came out in 1986. But so The Name of the Rose is set in the early 14th century and in Italy, and it has a main character whose name is Brother William of Baskerville. And William is on his way to an abbey, and I can't remember for sure if he already knew of the first death, or if he discovers it when he gets there. But ultimately, he is going to be tasked with trying to figure out what happened to the first person who was found dead at the abbey. William of Baskerville has an assistant, for lack of a better word, whose name is Adso. And William and Adso give you very much Sherlock Holmes and Watson vibes. He immediately starts to kind of show some of those investigative skills in one of the very early scenes where there's a horse coming to him and he knows exactly what happened, or why that horse was kind of there, and then demonstrated that to some people that were coming also down the trail they were on. So right out of the gate, you have that immediate feeling of an investigator similar to Sherlock Holmes. That is, I think that's a lot of what Eco was trying to go for. That's my best guess. But so as you kind of get to the Abbey is really the center stage for the whole book. And in that Abbey, it's really all about the library. And so this is a map of the Abbey, and this lovely structure here is the library. And it is magnificent sounding and scary and a labyrinth, and multiple ways to potentially get in and out of the library. There's a lot of secrecy about what's in the library, and a lot of books are not available to everyone. There's only a couple people who know every book that's in the library. And so they really set the stage Eco really sets the stage that the library is a key component of this whole book, and everything is centering around the library. And right at the beginning, William is told they're not allowed to go into sections of the library. They're supposed to request books. They can investigate areas that people had been working, but they're not allowed to go in to the main part of the library. And so as they're working their way trying to decipher what happened to the first person, there's another body that shows up, and then another body, and it just never kind of, obviously it stops. It continues for quite some time, that there's a lot of different people that end up dead in this book, and you're just trying to figure out who is the person that is killing all of these people? And so as you're watching it, you have, some likely suspects and then some not so likely suspects, and you're trying to figure out who really was the one that could have done it. And the other thing with this book is it's actually broken up into days. So the first day, the second day, all the way to the seventh day. And then the postscript that Eco wrote after this is actually also included in this book. You get to kind of journey with them. It's only told over the time, about a week's time, and you get to progress as you go through the story, and William trying to figure it out and other things happening and all of this intrigue and cloak and dagger type of stuff with this magnificent library in the background. And I really enjoyed this book quite a bit. The ending was, I'm gonna say, it was okay for me, like just the very ending. The villain I did not see coming in this, and then you can argue how much of a, well, I mean, he was a pretty big villain, I guess. I did not see the villain coming in this book, and I love it when that happens, but it made sense once that secret was revealed, or that aspect of the story was revealed. I was satisfied with the ending of it. If this as a group read with actually two different groups, and it was really fascinating to hear the different opinions across the groups. So one group was hosted by Larry from Larry Has Opinions and was hosted on Discord. The other one was hosted by Summer from Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats and was hosted on Voxer. Discord one, that was the one where there was a bit of a differing kind of opinion on it, and one person actually ended up DNFing the book because it just didn't work for them. And I completely respect the decision to DNF a book. I did that recently as well, and I understand why this book wouldn't necessarily work for everyone. So I've talked a lot about the detective kind of side of it and the intrigue and the mystery. The other part that Eco put in this book was a lot of religious commentary, and that in times is just really hard to stomach. And in fact, there's one at the beginning of the chapters, there'll be like a little chapter summary, kind of like a chapter preview almost. And Larry had an opinion that I shouldn't read those, and I did not listen to Larry's opinion and read them anyway. And that was a mistake, because one time I read it and it said they were discussing the poverty of Jesus, and I just didn't want to read that right then. So I put the book down and didn't pick it up for 2 days. And so, yeah, I will leave a link to Larry's video on his review of The Name of the Rose, because he put that up this last week. So you can have his discussion about the book. But that religious commentary and the religious narrative that's in this book is very heavy-handed at times, and at times goes on and on and on. And if it had been a book of just magnificent detective kind of mystery, trying to figure out all of this different pieces, I would have absolutely said 5-star kind of book for me. But because of this other stuff, it knocked it down to the 4 type of a range for me out of 5. But like I said, other people did not feel the same in our group, and one person didn't finish the book. And so I completely understand, like I said, why it just wasn't working, because those sections were very, very difficult to read, and just, if you weren't in the mood for that kind of text, it would be virtually impossible to get through. But the story is amazing, and now that I know it's a debut novel, I'm even more impressed, because for a debut, I really enjoyed the writing style. I thought it was incredibly easy to read. I thought that the characters were very well developed, and I really liked the personalities. I liked hearing it from Adso's perspective. I thought there were a couple of like little weird missteps in here, which were related to a girl that was brought into the Abbey. I thought that was very strange. So that part of it was just kind of, I don't know if maybe that is more of that debut kind of piece, trying to throw so much stuff into this one. But the backdrop of the library, absolutely incredible. one of the members in the Voxer group said that she wanted to go in the library and organize it. I thought that was hilarious. I was more intrigued by the library, and so there's, like I said, more about the library as you go through the book and what it actually looks like. That was super helpful, and this also does have some non-translated pieces in this. I believe it was Latin, if I remember correctly, and there is a website that actually, if you go search for it, you can find one website that has all of the translations of all of the pieces in The Name of the Rose, which makes it so much easier rather than trying to go and do a translation one kind of word at a time. But I did really like it. I put it more in the 4 out of 5 range. Like I said, one thing I think I put in the Discord chat, it's like, if William was such an investigator, why did it take him so long to figure out what was going on? Because ultimately you want that. I don't know, maybe I'm being too harsh on poor William, but with that, I would recommend this one. I think this one is almost now defined as kind of a modern classic, over 40 years old, and I really am glad that I got to read it with those 2 different groups. So thank you so much to Larry and to Summer for hosting them. I know in the Voxer group, not everyone is done with the book, so I'm hoping to be able to have more conversations with them soon. But The Name of the Rose is book number 969, and it is on my 2021 list. So we get to go from 15 to 14. Outside of that, the books that I have on kind of coming up in the 1001 book countdown, I am doing a reread of The Confederacy of Dunces, and this was sponsored by Mark over at Book Time with Elvis, and I had forgotten so much about this book. It is one of my favorite books, and I have not read it for a number of years. You can see I'm quite a bit of the way through. It will not count in the countdown just because I had already read it and marked it as read, but it is one I will continue to highly recommend. And then the other one that will probably next week is Cormac McCarthy's Blood Meridian. I am doing this as a buddy read with one of my subscribers, and I'm so thankful to her to actually be jumping on board with me for this read, because we are now halfway through the book, and she is really helping me get through this one. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And with that is the end of the book countdown today. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, everyone, thanks, bye.